Shalom. First off, I'd like to give all the praise and all the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect around the four corners of the earth that are making their calling and election sure. This is your brother Yanakar coming back at you again in the spirit with another lesson. Going into the concept of hell. Okay, because the so-called white man has distorted the truth. He has lied to you about the understanding of hell. Hell is just a condition that's played out in the earth and the grave. When you go into the word hell and you look it up and you get into the meaning of hell, it will tell you that hell, the meaning of hell, it means the grave, which when you go into that word Shiloh, it means grave, hell, pit. Right? And then when you go into the other meaning of hell, it means Gehenna. And when you go into Gehenna, it was just where Israelites burnt trash and dead animals and dead bodies and made sacrifices to Molech. Okay? Hell was used to bring out fear and to bring people to church and fight in wars. That's all that's just Greek mythology. Okay? That's all that this so-called white man was teaching was Greek mythology. He was using hell to scare the people, to get them to come into the churches, because if you felt like if you was wicked or you wasn't pleasing God, then you was going to go to a place that's under the ground and you were going to burn forever. But that's not true. The real concept of hell is just a condition that's played out in earth. Shiloh, grave, or ground. And I'm about to put this precept, Ecclesiastes 12:7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh Bashim Shah who gave it. So your spirit is going to return back to the Heavenly Father, and your body is going to go back to the dust. Because what they say, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So you're going to go back to the ground. That body is going to go back to the ground, and the spirit is going to go back up to the Father. It's easy to understand. The concept is not hard. All right? 1 Corinthians 15:40. There are also spiritual celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial. But the glory of the celestial is one and the glory of the terrestrial is another. You see? So when you go into the concept of hell, you got to understand that these people has misinterpreted hell. Because when you listening to these pastors in these churches, these mega churches, they just want to fill the pews. Okay, they just want you sitting in these seats so they can get these big collection plate donations, so that they can live these lavish lifestyles. Because I was looking at this one show that's on, I think it's BET now, and it's called Divorced Sisters, where the pastor in the church is riding in a Rolls Royce. And even his wife, the first lady of the church, is riding a Rolls Royce. And they living in a $3.5 million home. But the people in the congregation is struggling. They're catching hell. They're actually dealing with hell. A condition that's played out in earth. Afflictions. But they believe that if they don't do right, if they don't pay their tithes, if they don't come to church and donate 10% of their earnings, that they're going to go to a place under the ground and they're going to burn forever. And Satan is going to torment them under the ground. And that's not true. Satan is in the spiritual heavens, all right, sitting on the left-hand side of the Heavenly Father, doing the will of the Heavenly Father. Even with Job, when Satan wanted to come up against Job, he had to ask permission from the Heavenly Father. He couldn't just put his hands on Job without asking the Lord. That's showing you that he's in his rightful place. Okay? He said you can do whatever you want to him, but just don't kill him. So that's telling you that he's under the orders of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Okay? He can't do nothing without asking the Lord. So there's no places under the ground where Satan just have full reign just to torment you and do all types of things to you. No, hell is a condition that's played out in earth, where if you go off in your past life, okay, because reincarnation is biblical. If you go off in your past life, you come back to the earth as a newborn baby. You come back to the earth and you play out your judgment that you was given from the Heavenly Father in the heavens. All right, because there's a celestial body and there's a terrestrial body. The terrestrial body is the one that's getting punished down here on the earth. All right. All right. Salakia. First Corinthians 15:44. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. You see, so there's a natural body and a spiritual body. The natural body is the body that's terrestrial, earthly. The spiritual body, all right, is a celestial body, all right, that's up in heaven. So when you die, you go into that celestial body, that spiritual body. And it feels no pain. It doesn't get hungry. It doesn't want to have sex. It doesn't go off because it's in order. Okay, it's at rest. It feels no pain. Okay, and those spiritual bodies are powerful. The only thing that's holding this body, all right, holding the spirit in subjection is this body. Okay, that's why they call it. That's why the Bible call it chains of darkness. This body is that chain that's holding that spirit down. Because if this spirit was out of this body, it would be powerful. Okay, look at the angels up in heaven. Look at Michael the archangel. Look at Uriel. These angels are powerful. One angel could destroy the whole earth. So we're in those chains of darkness where we can get tormented, okay, by these demons. We can get tormented by the spiritual demon Satan, because this is hell. This is that condition that's played out in the earth. Okay? Ezekiel 18:4. Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. And when it die, it go before the judgment seat of the Lord, okay? And it receive its judgment for what it have done in this life. All right, matter of fact, I'm going to get that precept. 2 Corinthians 5:8. We are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. You see? Wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Yahushua, that everyone may receive the thing done in his body. Hold up. So everyone may receive the things done in his body according to that he have done, whether it be good or bad. You see? So when you die, you go before the judgment seat of Yahushua, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, okay, and you receive the judgment for what you've done in this body. So if you kill 5 people, Okay, and then you kill yourself thinking that you're going to get away with it. You don't have to suffer being put into Esau, Edom, the so-called white man's jail, and you're just going to off yourself and you're going to not have to worry about it. No, you go before the judgment seat of Yahweh Shem Shah, okay, and you receive your judgment for killing those 5 people. So when you born back onto the earth, you receive the judgment for the things that you have done in that body. It's beautiful. Yahweh Shem Shah made it perfect so that you can't get out of the judgment that is meant for you. Okay? It's beautiful, man. The Lord is powerful, man. Okay? Salakia. Ecclesiasticus. All right, Ecclesiasticus 3:16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. Hold up. I saw under the sun. Where are we at? We are under the sun, the earth. Okay? And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that the wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. You see? So we are under the sun right now. And we are in the place of judgment. So when you see a person being these horrific wrecks and they lose their arm or they lose their leg, that person is getting judged for the things that he done in his past life, because reincarnation is biblical. You can't talk about hell and the understanding of hell without reincarnation, because you're getting judged for the things that you've done in your past life. Okay, either it be good or bad. Okay, if it was good and you was out here and you was preaching the word and you was doing everything that you was supposed to do for Yahweh Shem Shah, you don't catch that hell that someone that killed 5 people and destroyed his temple is going to get. Okay? Because we still in the curses. Yeah, we're going to catch hell, but you're not going to catch that hell that somebody that was wicked would catch. Okay? If you understand where I'm coming from. All right? All right, I'm gonna get Jonah 2:1, because Jonah also went into this. All right, Jonah 2:1. Then Jonah prayed unto Yahweh his power out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of my affliction unto Yahweh, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice. You see, so Jonah was not in hell. He was in the belly of the fish. He was in a hellified condition. Okay? Because hell is a condition that's played out on earth, an affliction that he was going through. It probably was dark in there. It probably was wet in there. Okay? It probably was cold in there. And he was crying to the Lord like, hey, get me out of this hellified condition. Get me out of this situation that I'm going through, because I'm in hell right now. And that's what people do. People cry to the Lord when they can't get food on their table, when their children are in the hospital and you don't know if that child is going to make it. That's hell. Okay? You losing your job and you have children to feed and you have no money in your bank account. That's hell. Your AC going out in the middle of those dog days of summer. That's hell. Hell is a condition that's played out in the earth. The white man's heaven is the black man's hell. And who is in control right now? The so-called wicked. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the so-called white man is putting us in hellified conditions. You in the ghetto, the barrios, the projects. You're eating these different GMO foods. You're smelling chemtrails. You're drinking water that's destroying your body out of plastic. You can't be sovereign. You're going through all these different hellified conditions. That is hell. Not being able to control where you live, not being able to control how you discipline your children. That's hell. You are in hellified conditions. Okay? That's the only thing hell is. Okay, then you die, you go to the ground, shower off. Okay, that's hell, the ground. All right, because your body is going back to the dust, back to the ground. But that spirit is going back to the Heavenly Father who gave it. And Jonah was crying because he was in a hellified condition. Okay? He said, for my affliction. When you see someone on drugs and they're and they're trying to get off and they're taking these different medications like Suboxone, Subutex, they're trying to get out of that hellified condition. They're being tormented by demons. That's why they kill themselves, because they'll rather be at rest. They'll rather be in the spirit world. Okay, in that celestial body, that spiritual body that's feeling no pain, that's feeling no hunger. Okay, that's feeling no type of affliction. See, the church has used hell to put that fear in you. But what the Lord told us about that. All right. I'm going to pull the precept. Let me see. Salakia. Okay. 2 Peter's. Where is it at? 2 Peter 1:16. For we have not followed cunningly devised fables. You see, hell is a cunningly devised fable, and it's used to put that fear on you, to come into these churches and to give your money so that the pastor can live this lavish lifestyle, so that he can get that Rolls Royce, so he can live in these $1 million homes, so he can have money to put food on his table while you have nothing on your table. You're in a hellified condition, all right, while they're living good. That's how he's using that fear to persuade you, okay, to come into these churches. That's all it is. And we're not supposed to follow after these cunning devised fables. All right. Just like when you go into let me see. Salakia. Let me pull up this precept. Job 30, and I'm going to start at 23. For I know that thou wilt bring me to death, and to the house appointed for all living. Howbeit he will not stretch out his hand to the grave, though they cry in his destruction. Did not I weep for him that was in trouble? Was not my soul grieved for the poor? When I looked for good, then evil came unto me. And when I waited for light, there came darkness. My bowels boiled and rested not. The days of affliction prevented me. I went mourning without the sun. I stood up and I cried in the congregation. You see? So Job was telling you, like, hey, I was catching hell. I was in an affliction. You know? I'm crying unto the congregation because I was in a condition, all right, that was hell to him. That's all it is. Hey, catching hell, man. Job was catching hell. So there's no place that you're going to die, that you're going to go to that's worse than this right here. This is where you get judged at. This is where Yahweh Shema Shah, okay, torment you at. Okay, let me get Matthew's. Let's see. Matthew's 10 and 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. You see? So, hey, he say, fear not them that can kill the body. Okay? Fear not them that which can kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. You see, so the body and the soul are two separate things. The body is going back to the ground. The spirit is going back to the Heavenly Father. He is the only one that has power over the spirit. A person on earth cannot kill the spirit. Okay, spirit is pure energy. It just transfers from one body to another. Okay? But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. So we're in hell, a place under the sun, judgment, where Yahweh Shema Shah can destroy that body and that soul, all right, in hell. Because you're catching hell. That spirit is catching hell here, all right, because it's in the body. But when you go into the spiritual realm, the body is going back to the earth, okay? But when you are born back through your father and your mother having sex, or somebody in your family line having sex and bring you back on the earth, then you get judged for the things that you've done in your past life. All right. Then if you was a wicked person, you catch that hell. All right. You're in hellified conditions. Okay. That's all hell is. It's easy to understand. This lie about hell has been pushed all throughout the earth by these pastors in the Baptist church, the Roman Catholic Church, Christianity. It's used to scare you. It's a fear tactic. That's all it is. Okay. Salakia. That's pretty much the point, but I'm gonna bring out one more precept. Psalms 104 and 29. Thou hottest the face, they are troubled. They take us away their breath, they die and return to their dust. You see, they die and they return to their dust. The body, it returned to the dust. But that spirit, it goes back to the Heavenly Father. Thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. You see, so you die. You go before the judgment seat of the Lord that we brought out earlier. Okay? And you receive the things that you receive the judgment for the things that you've done in the body. Okay, then you come back to earth, you renew the face of the earth because that spirit is born back into a body. Okay, and you get your judgment. You might be born blind, you might be born deaf, you might be retarded. Okay, handicapped. That's the judgment for what you've done in your past life. The Heavenly Father has made this thing beautiful. He's made it simple for you to understand. That's why he set up prophets all around the four corners of the earth to give you understanding to these Jewish fables that are being pushed around the four corners of the earth to scare you, to use that fear tactic on you. But the men of the Lord are tearing those things down, tearing down those strongholds, because that's a stronghold. Okay, that's a stronghold to our people because they really believe that it's a place that if you don't go to church and you don't pay your tithes and if you curse all the time, using profanity, that you're going to go to a place where you're going to burn forever and the devil is just going to have fun tormenting you. No, that's not true. This is the place right here. Okay? Because when you die, there's no other place that you're going to go to that you're going to be tormented. You're going back to the spiritual realm. That's why people commit suicide, because that spirit knows it's going to go back to the Heavenly Father and it's at rest. Look at Saul. Saul committed suicide. Okay? But Saul did not go back. Saul did not go go to hell. All right? A place under the ground where Satan was waiting on him to torment him. No, he went to the spiritual realm, because Samuel said, you and your son's going to be here with me. All right? Because Saul said, Samuel said he was at rest. All right? When the witch of Endor, all right, raised Samuel up, and Samuel came down and talked to Saul, he told Saul, hey, by in the morning, you're going to be here with me. And how did Saul die? Saul fell upon his sword. He committed suicide. And everybody on the earth think that when you commit suicide, okay, that you're going to go to hell. Saul didn't go to hell. Saul went to the spiritual realm. Okay? Even Job told you what happens when you die. Matter of fact, I might well get that, since we're on that point, to bring some more understanding to it. Job 3:11. Why die I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost? Well, mostly we of GMS don't like to say ghost. We say spirit. All right. Why did I not give up the spirit when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me, or why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain and still and been quiet. I should have slept. Then had I been at rest. Hold up. Then I would have been at rest. You see, Job was telling you that, hey, he would rather stay in the spiritual world instead of being born here on the earth, because he was at rest. Okay, he was not in hell. He was not talking about a place under the earth where a spiritual demon Satan is tormenting you. No, he said that he would be at rest. Okay, Job 3:14. With kings and counselors of the earth, which build desolate places for themselves. You see? And we all know how wicked these kings and these counselors are here on the earth. But he say they are there also. Okay? Everybody is in the spiritual realm. There's no place under the earth where the devil is tormenting wicked souls. No, that's not true. Job 3:15. Or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as a hidden untimely birth had I not been, as infants which never saw light. There the wicked cease from troubling. Hold up. There the wicked, all right, because the wicked are there and they ceasing from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. You see, and people are wearied here on the earth. That's why they commit suicide, because they want to go to rest. They want to be in the spiritual realm. All right. Hey, Paul even talked about it. Paul said it was so beautiful, man. We shouldn't even utter. Man should not utter utter about it. Okay, because he didn't even want to talk about how beautiful it was in the spiritual realm. Because Paul, he died and he went to the spiritual realm, okay? And he rather to be in the spiritual realm than be on earth. But he knew that he had a job to do. He had work still to do. Okay? Job 3:18. There the prisoners, hold up, there the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voice of the oppressors. The small and the great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which longeth for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than for hidden treasures, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. You see? So, hey, people be putting themselves to death because they want to go to the spiritual realm. They want to be at rest. They want to not be catching hell in these hellified conditions, because hell is a condition that's played out in earth. This is that judgment place under the sun. Okay? Easy. Very simple to understand. There is no place where you're going to burn under the ground and the spiritual demon Satan is tormenting you. Okay? No, there's no place like that. This is it right here. This is that place where judgment is issued out. Okay? This is it right here. That lake of fire that's coming, that is when those thermonuclear missiles are shot from one end of the earth to the other. And it's going to cause that lake of fire. That's why I say hell, death and hell was cast into the lake of fire. This is it right here. This is that place of judgment. And it's going to be cast into that lake of fire. Okay? So with that, I'm going to end off by giving all the praise and all the glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and salutations to the whole elect around the four corners of the earth that are making their calling and election sure. Shalom.